Hello there, Aries. Welcome back to Misfits of the Zodiac. My name is Ace. I'm going to be doing a reading for you for the month of September. I already pulled your cards for you, and I'm getting a lot of heaviness in the very beginning of September. You're going through it right now, but I will say that towards the end of the month, it's looking great. It feels like all this hard work or this heaviness that you're moving through, about halfway through the month, you're going to start to see things like shift. And I think it could be about a major decision that you're like racking your brain about. And I feel like the universe, your guides, whatever you believe, is trying to signal to you that you already know the answer, but you might be fighting it, and you fighting it is making it harder on you. Okay, so your first card that you got was the Ace of Pentacles, which tells me that you received an offer recently. This could be a job prospect. This could be more money coming in, or the promise of new money coming in. But it could be with some asking of you of more of your time, taking on more responsibility, and it feels like it's going to be a positive thing, but you might be making it harder than it needs to be. So trying to delegate some of that and not getting caught up in this, like feeling like you have to carry all of the load, is going to be really important. In this particular depiction, she's carrying these wands up to the top of the mountain, and there's this really cute little squirrel down here. I don't know if you can see him, which is asking you to try to find the play. While you're in the middle of doing what it is that you're doing, trying to take a step back and finding something that makes you laugh, brings joy, okay? Because if you spend too much in this Ten of Wands energy, which is very heavy energy, you could run into a situation where you burn yourself out, and then you have to take a pause, or a break that's going to be longer than needed because you push yourself a little too hard. That's the vibe that I'm getting from this. I do think with the Ace of Pentacles, you have something great coming in, and it might be related to this Ten of Wands, but it might be that there is another option, and this Ace of Pentacles is asking for you to look out for that other option. Look out for something else that's coming in that might be better for you than potentially making it harder on yourself and doing all the work yourself. This card is usually asking you to delegate. That's the simplest way to explain it. Trying not to take the full load onto yourself. So I feel like there is a trusted other, because you have the Two of Cups coming in next, and this could be you and your higher self. Sometimes I get that vibe. For this particular reading, though, I feel like it's talking about a trusted other, someone that you either trust in the workplace, or either a best friend or a significant other, that might be able to lighten the load a little bit, that might be able to give you that offer that I was talking about. Maybe it is that you are on the right track, but you just need a little help. And this person wants to offer this to you. So take it. Maybe delegate some things if you can to them. If you can't delegate, obviously you can't delegate business things to them. Maybe you can. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. And if you can, great. If you're an entrepreneur, maybe you can pay someone else to do some of the other stuff so you can focus on the stuff that you actually care about. But if you are in a business where you don't have control over that, maybe asking your partner this month, if it does start to feel in the first part of the month like you're having a hard time doing it, maybe seeing if there's something at home, maybe some home responsibilities that they could maybe lighten your load a little bit in that way, so that way you can get a little more rest when you are at home, so you can show up with your A game at work, because it might get a little challenging in the first I'm feeling the first 2 weeks. It could be that you're just feeling kind of like overburdened with something. So keep that in mind. Again, I think that energy moves out of the way after the first 2 weeks of September, but it feels like that's the beginning energy. And then the next two cards are also challenging cards, but I feel like these are the things that are going to be like the precipice of you moving into the different energy. So you have the 10 of Athames and the 3 of Athames. In the normal tarot, this is talking about, it's the 10 of Swords. So something is done, dead, over with. You need to move on from it. I feel like, again, about 2 weeks into September, you're going to start to feel like you've done all you can with this project. You've done all you can with whatever this burden was that we were talking about, and you need to move on from it. So you kind of cut your losses and move on. If there's anything else that needs to be done, figuring out exactly what that is and systematically figuring that out, getting them out of the way, and just moving on from it, and trying not to get stuck in the energy that is being presented as like this burden. Okay. And this 3 of Athames is usually the 3 of Swords in the normal tarot, which is talking about loss, but it's also talking about, it could be disappointment. It could be love loss. I don't feel like that's the case in this particular situation. I personally feel like in this reading, in this particular deck, this sometimes is saying that you already know the answer to your question. If you've been agonizing over a question, that might be what needs to like get cut. That might be the thing that's overburdening you, okay? Because your intuition is trying to scream at you saying, you know what you're supposed to do. But sometimes we love to question that. And we end up regretting that when that's the case. So this tells me you know the answer. So if you feel in your gut, and the way that you know it's your gut is that there's no feeling attached, okay? There's no like sense of fear. It's just like this knowing, okay? You know what is right for you. Work off that. Use your own discretion, and then go with what your gut is telling you to do, because I feel like you already know the answer. And the second you do that, the second it's dead, done, and over with. There could be a loss as a result, but it's asking, if there is a loss, it's asking for you to move on from it, because you have some great energy coming up. And sometimes we have to kind of like realize what's not working, which is hard. It feels overwhelming sometimes, but once we realize that that's what needs to be let go, and that might be this like agonizing over a decision, once you make that decision, you can like move forward from it. But if you stay in that like of two minds, you're not going to be able to like move on from that. You're just going to day after day wake up to the same situation every single day. So the quicker you make a decision, even if it's quote unquote the wrong one, which I don't believe is even a thing, but you will at least then know. If you work off of that and you're like, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this, and then you do that and you're like, oh, actually, maybe that's not going to be, at least then you know. If you just sit in this like, should I, shouldn't I for too long, you not only are telling your intuition that you don't give a shit, but you're also not trusting yourself. And then next time that comes up, you might stamp it down that much quicker. Okay. So, try not to do that if you can. I know it's not easy to do sometimes, but I feel like this reading is asking of you to do that. When things start to get really tough, you know what you need to do to move on from it. So do that thing. And if it doesn't work, move on. Figure something else out. Okay, just don't stuck in this like indecision, because that's not going to benefit you at all. Your next cards, like I've been saying, are great. I feel like the second you make this decision, everything clears the way, clears the path for the thing that's supposed to come into your life. So you have the Queen of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. These are great energies. So Queen of Pentacles is all about money. This person is very stable. She's got all of these, she's in her own little garden here, and she's underneath like a walnut tree, and she's got this whole bucket of walnuts here. And she is living in peace because she has security. Not only does she have security for herself, but as a result of having security for herself, she's able to give more to others. And you may find that when you are able to give more to others, that in the future, they'll think of you if you are struggling yourself and you might need some help in the future. Don't do that as a result. Like, don't be doing things for other people so that they feel obligated to do that for you. But if you have a little, you know, you might find that this month you're able to give a little in the second half of September. So that could be very beneficial for you, because it feels good to give to people that you care about, to people that mean a lot to you, especially when you are in a time of plenty. It's always like boosting to your heart and your soul, you know. So looks like very positive energy. And then you have the 9 of Pentacles. Again, this is kind of happy home here, okay? You have these kids running around, and this couple, they're living their life. They're doing things, you know, in their own way, and they're living their life, and they're enjoying their life. There's this really cute little guy down here. He's a symbol of business going well. So again, this decision that you're making in the first half of September tells me that once you get that out of the way, you're able to focus on the good stuff. You're able to focus on the people that you care about. You're able to give a little bit more because you're not stuck in this mind hell of like, should I, shouldn't I, right? And as a result, you have the Ace of Wands, which is all about a brand new start. Usually this is in business. It doesn't have to be. It could be money related, but usually it's, for me in this particular reading, it feels like a new idea. At the very end of the month, as a result of going through this heavy energy and moving through it, moving on and making that decision, you're going to have this great idea that feels like it's going to come out of nowhere. It's going to come in thick and fast. And I think that you're going to be very pleasantly surprised that this might be, you know, like I was saying before, if you make the decision and then you realize, oh, actually that doesn't really work, at least then you know, and then you're able to go, okay, well, what are other options? Okay, this could be another option that comes in. So if your decision that you're that you might be freaking out about, is bogging you down, just know that there's something else coming in for you. So if it doesn't work, if your original idea doesn't work, there's always another option coming in, okay? So keep that in mind in the month of September. That's what I have for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one more card for you from my Wild Things Oracle. I got this in Salem, Massachusetts last year. It's very exciting. This is, we're going into kind of the shadowy part of the year, so I'm pulling a card from this because I feel like it helps us with shadow. I feel like because, too, you're working through some heavy energies, this could be very beneficial for you. This particular deck feels like very right for your particular, reading. So you have Remember the War Beat. So, to me, I was going to read from this, but I already kind of have a feeling immediately from this, okay? So, I feel like this card is asking for you to think of little you. When sometimes we get so wrapped up in adulting that we forget to find the joy, find the thing that lights us up, makes us feel happy, okay? And I feel like, you know, he's holding on to this little stuffed animal, okay? Your inner child might be asking for some attention this month. Finding time to find play could be really beneficial to you, especially in the first half of the month. I feel like when things start to get really heavy, don't forget to take breaks, okay? Like when we're in kindergarten, we take naps, we, go out and play on the playground, Don't forget that, like, adult you needs that too. I forget it all the time. I have to constantly remind myself, hey, like, I'm going to go to the park for 10 minutes. And you would be amazed at how much that does for your psyche, for your mental health, for your physical health, for your emotional health. Like, it can be night and day. Also, I'm getting a download too. When some of this heavy emotional or heavy energy comes in the first half of your month, I'm getting the feeling that taking walks, if you can, could really benefit you, okay? Getting outdoors and just feeling the sun, feeling the wind on your face, feeling, seeing birds, seeing other little dogs walking by, like, those are going to be the thing that kind of take you out of that, like, heavier energy and lift you up a little bit. Okay, if you're anything like me, it does wonders. Like, even just a 10-minute walk will literally change my whole perspective on things. And I can't give you the exact science, but I have heard that walking also helps the synapses in the brain kind of make connections. So if you're trying to make that decision I was talking about earlier that you're kind of like agonizing about, taking a walk could really help you make some connections that if you're just sitting in one place, it might be a lot harder to like bridge the gap. But if you're able to get outside and just kind of move your body a little bit, your brain will then kind of help the two sides of your brain kind of connect the dots, and you might end up with a solution a heck of a lot faster and easier by doing that. So that's what I'm getting for that particular card as well. So highly recommend paying attention to little you and getting some time out in the sun, or getting some time to like just get a break. Maybe even have a cup of tea. Do something that's like gonna alter your perspective a little bit and get you outside of this like heaviness, because if you stay in it too long, sometimes it has a tendency to kind of just keep like spiraling. Okay, that is what I have for you, Aries. I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you next month for spooky season, babies. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.